Good morning. I'm sorry about that. Technical difficulties. I guess the computer's sick of Microsoft Team and Zoom and everything else too. So
Good morning, Carol.
good morning.
All right. Good morning, everyone. This public meeting of the Philadelphia Board of Pensions and Retirement will be conducted as a virtual meeting using Microsoft Teams conference technology. Pursuant to Section 21-1503 of the Philadelphia Code, this meeting is being recorded and the recording will be made available to the public online at the board's website within 10 days. Please note that you consent to such recording by joining this meeting. Please also note that the meeting software will log the email address or the telephone number that you've used to join the meeting, and therefore that information may be used and may become part of the recording that is made available to the public. And now I will call our December 9th, 2021 meeting to order. And first, I'd like to ask our board to approve our virtual procedures for today's meeting. For the benefit of the new trustees, I will read the motions in an affirmative or a positive, and then we'll move through an individual roll call vote in alphabetical order. So a motion to adopt the procedures for today's meeting has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on this pending item? Hearing none. Brian?
I approve.
Leontine?
I approve.
Vanessa?
I approve.
Sherilyn?
Approve.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
Approve.
Carol?
Approve.
And Kellen?
Approve.
Motion carries. Item 2, a motion to approve our minutes from the October 28th meeting has been made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll move to the roll. Brian?
I approve.
Leontine?
Approve.
Vanessa?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Approve.
Roosevelt?
I approve.
Paul?
Approve.
Carol?
Approve.
And Kellen?
Approve.
Motion carries unanimously. Item 3, a motion to approve 155 pension applications and 75 withdrawal applications has been made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, move to the roll. Brian?
I approve.
Leontine?
Approve.
Vanessa?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Approve.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
Approved.
Carol?
Approve.
And Kellen?
Approve.
Motion carries unanimously. Section 4, 4A, an application to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Jermaine Cleveland has been made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll move to the roll. Brian?
I approve.
Leontine?
Approve.
Vanessa?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Approve.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
Approved.
Carol?
Approve.
And Kellen?
Approve.
Motion carries unanimously. 4B, motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Andy Chan has been made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Brian?
I approve.
Leontine?
Approve.
Vanessa?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Approve.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
I approve.
Carol?
Approve.
And Kellen?
Approve.
Motion carries unanimously. 4C, an application to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Efren Rivera has been made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none. Brian?
I approve.
Leontine?
Approve.
Vanessa?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Approve.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul Reed?
I approve.
Carol?
Approve.
And Kellen?
Approved.
Motion carries unanimously. 4D, motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Derek Everidge has been made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none. Brian?
I approve.
Leontine?
Deny.
Vanessa?
Deny.
Geraldine?
Deny.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
I approve.
Carol?
Approve.
and Kellen.
Approve.
The motion carries 5-3. 4E, a motion to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Sonia Monk has been made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll move to the roll. Brian?
I approve.
Leontine?
Approve.
Vanessa?
Approved.
Sherilyn?
Approve.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
I approve.
Carol?
Approve.
Kellen?
Approve.
Motion carries unanimously. 4F, an application to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Bruce Rush has been made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Brian?
I approve.
Leontine?
Approve.
Vanessa?
Approved.
Sherilyn?
Approve.
Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
I approve.
Carol?
Approve.
And Kellen?
Approve.
Motion carries unanimously. 4G, an application to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Paul Paris has been made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none. Brian?
I approve.
Leontine?
Approve.
Vanessa?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Deny.
Roosevelt?
Approved.
Paul?
Approved.
Carol?
Approve.
And Kellen?
Approve.
The motion carries 7-1. 4H, an application to approve the service-connected disability benefits for Gerald A. Steeple has been made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none. Brian?
I approve.
Leontine?
Approve.
Vanessa?
I approve.
Sherilyn?
Approve.
Roosevelt?
Approved.
Paul?
Approved.
Carol?
Approve.
And Kellen?
Approved.
The motion carries unanimously. 5A, an application to approve the service-connected death benefits for Charles E. Robinson Jr. has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll move to the roll. Brian?
I approve.
Leontine?
Approve.
Vanessa?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Approve.
Roosevelt?
Approved.
Paul?
I approve.
Carol?
Approve.
And Kellen?
Approved.
Motion carries unanimously. Section 6A, an application to approve the survivorship benefits as common law spouse regarding Raymond Jackson, the deceased, has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll move to the roll. Brian?
I'll abstain.
Leontine?
Deny.
Vanessa?
Deny.
Sherilyn?
Deny.
Roosevelt?
Abstain.
Paul?
Abstain.
Carol?
Abstain.
And Kellen?
Deny.
The motion fails 0-4 with 4 abstentions. Item 7, a motion to approve the request to rescind drop enrollment for Charles Tasco has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on this pending motion? Hearing none. Brian?
Deny.
Leontine?
Deny.
Vanessa?
Deny.
Sherilyn?
Deny.
Roosevelt?
Deny.
Paul?
Deny.
Carol?
Deny.
And Kellen?
Deny.
The motion fails 0-8. Section 8, old business. 8A, an application to approve the service-connected disability benefits regarding Rosemary Reed has been made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll go to the roll. Brian?
I approve.
Leontine?
Deny.
Vanessa?
Deny.
Sherilyn,
Deny.
Roosevelt,
Approve.
Paul,
Approve.
Carol,
Approve.
and Kellen.
Approve.
The motion carries 5-3. 8B, a motion to approve the entrance to drop regarding Luis Dorenzo has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion on this item? Okay, Brian,
Deny.
Leontine,
Deny.
Vanessa,
Deny.
Sherilyn,
Deny.
Roosevelt,
Deny.
Paul,
I deny.
Carol,
I'm deny.
and Kellen.
Deny.
Motion fails 0-8. 8C, a motion to approve the service-connected death benefits for Karima Beckham has been made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll go to the roll. Brian,
Deny.
Leontine,
Deny.
Vanessa,
Deny.
Sherilyn,
Deny.
Roosevelt,
Deny.
Paul,
Deny.
Carol,
Deny.
and Kellen.
Deny.
The motion fails 0-8. 8D, a motion to approve the survivorship benefits as common law spouse for Regina Boyd regarding Eugene Boyd, the deceased, has been made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll move to the roll. Brian,
I approve.
Leontine,
Approve.
Vanessa,
Approve.
Sherilyn,
Approve.
Roosevelt,
Approved.
Paul,
I approve.
Carol,
Approve.
and Kellen.
Approved.
The motion carries unanimously. Is there any other old business before the board? Okay, that moves us into new business and the executive director's report.
Good morning, everyone. Just as an update, the actuarial materials are being distributed to the actuary, clarification questions being answered. To give you a time frame, just so everyone knows, the annual actuarial presentation, when Chiron comes and gives the PowerPoint presentation and they put their little graph up on the screen and they move around the percentages, that will again occur at the February board meeting. So that's February. The final actuarial report is completed in March, but the presentation is in February. This year we have an experience study which takes place every 4 years. That will be at the March meeting where we will receive the experience study. And again, as a refresher, the experience study reviews all of the underlying assumptions that were determined at the last experience study, such as mortality tables, payroll growth, so on and so forth. It reviews them, reviews the actual experience, and then the board looks at whether or not they want to alter those assumptions. The January meeting this year, Chiron will be presenting and reviewing the pension adjustment fund at the January meeting. So that will take place again at the January meeting. So January meeting, Chiron will be reviewing the PAF. February meeting, Chiron will be making their presentation for the annual actuarial report. And the March meeting, Chiron will be presenting the experience study. So we have a busy couple of months coming up starting in January. Of course, that includes we provided the stress testing legislation to Chiron in the event that it adds anything to their already robust stress testing that they do. And that will be part of the presentation also. The annual audit and the state audit continue. So they are moving along. We did have the state auditor in about 2 weeks ago for 2 days to review the files So that has been completed. Of course, we don't know anything at this point, but the audits both continue. As a reminder, the December pension checks will be paid December 16th. What that means is that people will be getting their monthly pension check early. You may have, and this is for the elected trustees, usually you sometimes do get questions at the end of the month saying, where's my pension check? So you just sometimes have to remind folks, because people get direct deposit in the savings account. They may not see it. They may not check till the end of the month, not realizing that the check goes in early in December. So again, the check will be December 16th, and the next check after that will be at the end of January, as normally as the last business day of the month. So that's, yeah, I think that's everything for the executive director's report. Jack, just there is a business and education travel request. The annual Corey Ed Educational Institute is coming up. I don't know. I believe one trustee expressed interest. I don't know if anyone wants to make a motion for anyone who would like to attend that to be able to attend.
Sure. Is there a motion from the board?
I'll make the motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion to approve the request for any trustees who wish to attend the Corey event in January has been made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Okay, hearing none. Brian?
I approve.
Leontine?
Approve.
Vanessa?
Approve.
Sherilyn?
Approve.
Roosevelt? Roosevelt, do we have you on the travel request?
Sorry, approved.
Thank you. Paul?
I approve.
Carol?
Approve.
And Helen?
Approved.
Motion carries unanimously.
And then there are materials in your, there is information in your materials concerning third quarter 2021 educational expenses. So they are in there. Now I'm really done.
So
Thanks, Fran.
Jack, for Fran, I have a question. So the stress test, the language that Councilwoman Sherrill wanted to have put in our investment policy, has it been done? Did we change anything that we agreed upon with her?
I think our investment policy was pretty consistent with the language, and I'll defer to Chris, but I don't think any additional alterations were necessary. Chris?
I think that's right, Fran. We'll take another look, but the changes that the board made 12, 18 months ago, I think, as you said, are consistent with the councilwoman's intent. And I don't believe additional codification or language is needed either.
Okay, so that was just, okay, I'm sorry. So that was just, when we met with her, that was just language that we wanted to make sure that was included in the resolution. So maybe that's what because I know the controller, you and the controller had some concern about certain language being put out there. And maybe that was just for the resolution that was passed. Okay.
Yeah, Carol, everything that we requested was put into the legislation and survived the legislation. So everything that we wanted was put in there, and it reflects everything that the board has done, and that the board was already doing robust stress testing. So all of that was accepted and survived, okay, and it appeared in the final legislation.
That's why I was getting confused with that. Thank you for that. And
yeah.
I was asked a question, so I don't know. Are we going to start doing the retirement seminars again? I know we're not meeting in person, but have we thought about doing it Microsoft Team or whatever?
Yes, we were actually
about it, and I don't know. So
yes, we've discussed that internally, and we are working on putting that together as a platform and doing those virtually. We think that even when things go back I call it full-time live, whatever you want to call it, in person. We think that it will be much more convenient for people to be able to have access to it online because they don't have to come to the board. They don't have to spend time going back and forth. So yes, that's a good idea, something we started to look at, and we should hopefully be able to roll that out soon. And that's a good idea, Carol.
Okay, so maybe we're thinking about doing it virtually and in person because some people just like to see that physical being when they have a discussion like that. But thank you, thank you. I'll wait for you to get it together.
Yeah, yep, you got it.
All right, that's all. Thank you.
Thanks, Carol. Any other new business before the board? Okay, that moves us to the litigation summary.
There are really no updates right now.
Okay, thanks, Ellen. A motion to adjourn has been made and seconded, and hearing no objections, motion carries unanimously, and we'll move into the deferred comp portion of the meeting.
Jackie, before you move, Ellen, since we got new I'm sorry, I know I'm late today. Y'all forgive me. Since we have new trustees, do you think you want to just give a little update on what the legislation is about, or we can do that at a later date? I don't know. I'm just asking.
We can do that another date. I mean, there are a number of matters that maybe I should brief them on.
Okay. That's good. Yeah.
Just sort of procedures.
Okay. That's
Okay.
Good. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carol. It's a good idea. Okay. We've moved into the deferred comp portion, and the first item is to approve our minutes from prior meeting. Motion to approve the minutes has been made and seconded. Any discussion on this item? Hearing none, we'll go to the roll. Diana?
Approve.
Thanks. Brian?
I approve.
Leonti?
Approve.
Vanessa?
Approve.
Roosevelt?
Approved.
Sorry, somehow I was muted. Do we have Paul? Okay, I'll come back. Carol
Approve.
and Kellen.
Approved.
Okay. Paul, just wanted to circle back on the vote for the deferred comp meeting minutes. Okay. The motion carries unanimously, and we'll note that Paul was not able to record a vote. And that brings us to item 2, the deferred comp plan update.
So on the investment side, there are no updates, and so I can turn it over to Nationwide.
Good morning. Thank you, Dominique. Unfortunately, I will be pinch hitting for Bina this morning. She had a conflict, so she's not able to attend. So I'll be doing the whole deferred comp report out. So for the end of October, the deferred comp plan account balance is $1,770,427.72. Total plan participants are 24,523. 19,135 of those are actively deferring money into the plan. There were 112 new enrollments for the month of October. And as of the 401A plan for the end of October was $2,057,872 with 885 participants in the 401A plan. The Solutions Center received 3,035 calls in the month of October, an increase of 215 calls from the previous month. There are 960 participants utilizing the percentage contribution option, and there are 3,742 participants that are contributing to the Roth aspect of deferred comp. That's an increase of 105 participants, and total assets in the Roth are $16,323,415. With that, I'll transition to the local team activity report, which for the month of October, the local team conducted 173 one-on-one consultations, resulting in 54 enrollments, and 51 of those consultations utilized the My Interactive Retirement Planner tool. The team did conduct 11 new employee orientations, and there were 24 group event and workshops. Total attendees were 633 employees. And you will notice a minor change to the report, just because we are able to do some in-person visits. So you'll notice some the webinars that are listed are the webinars that we've been doing since the pandemic began, virtually offered to every employee that can attend whenever they would like. And at the top is the kind of department-specific in-person meetings that we've done during the month. With that, if there are no questions, that is the deferred comp activity.
Brad, I do have a question. It's Fran.
Yes.
Chris and I discussed this. I mentioned it to Chris previously. Is there any way, is conversion to the Roth 457, is that a thing? Conversion from your regular 457 to a Roth 457? I'm not talking about straight up contributions. I'm talking about conversion. I know the law is in flux, maybe soon, but
there is a provision, a law that allows in-plan Roth conversions, Fran. It is something that needs to be adopted by the plan.
okay.
And added to the plan document, but there is a provision that does allow for that to happen.
Is that something that's being addressed by the new law? I mean, is it, or is that just for individuals? Outside of 457.
Fran, I'm not a lawyer, obviously, but and that is kind of pending legislation, I think.
Yep.
But I think it's just basically referring to individuals, but I can't speak firmly on that.
Could we look at that, and you can work with the law department? Can we have a presentation on that next month? Because I know there are people who have been contributing to the 457 for years and years and might be interested in converting some of their assets into a Roth 457, if that is possible.
Absolutely, Fran. We can work with law department and put together a little presentation on in-plan Roth conversions for next month.
Yeah, and again, we would like that presented next at the January meeting. You have a little extra time because it's early December now, so that
should be fine from our aspect.
It's fine for us too. That's fine.
So is that going to be presented to the membership? I mean, the employees, or that's just going to be something that they're working on with the law department?
It'll be presented to the board because it has to be adopted into the plan materials. Yeah.
Okay.
And then it could be offered to the membership, rolled out to the membership if the board agrees that it's a good idea.
All right. Thank you.
On that, Brad, and you may already be doing it, but can we also get sort of a risk return assessment with that, explaining not just the option, but why it may or may not make sense for someone, just to help out the trustees who are going to go out and talk to the members. You know what I'm saying?
I do. I do, Brian. We can put together something. It'll be kind of high level because each individual person is very different when it comes to their financial aspect, but we can put together something that will kind of lay out this is the scenarios and how it happens.
One other question. I think, Jackie, I think you control the screen. Can we go back to the statistics? How many participants and how many are contributing to Roth? How many are percentage-based deferral? Do you have that? The percentage-based deferral is very low. If I heard it's 900 and some folks, right? Where is that? Percentage option 960. That's very loud. I hope that's not me. That's a very low number considering we have how many participants? 27,000 or whatever the heck it is. I say that for the new trustees, maybe to start talking to their membership, but maybe Nationwide can start pushing that agenda a little bit, educating people on the benefits. I would argue that half of those 960 are firefighters, because I push that hard with my folks. And it's a big advantage over the course of time to do percentage-based versus dollars if you do it right. So I just don't want that number to go unnoticed. That's a very small number for a pretty significant benefit that we have. That's all.
Yeah, Brian, you're right, especially for the unionized employees who get regular pay increases, because then the percentage goes into
Right,
is automatic.
overtime and all the other things. Absolutely, those little pieces of the pie really add up. That's exactly my point.
Right, that's good.
I would just like some attention brought to that from Nationwide, but also maybe from the trustees to kind of point that out, because again, we deal with the members. So yes, Fran, thank you.
So Brian,
It's Jeff, and if I may pile on just for a minute, totally agree. And the timing's perfect as we're having an internal discussion to start thinking about marketing and strategies for next year. So this is a great time for us to have that conversation and look at what we can do exactly around a topic like that. Because again, agree, right? The overtime factor and things of that nature with percentage versus flat dollar can be very impactful. So we can for sure look into that. And again, just to pile on, but wanted to agree with that. And Brad, let's make sure that's on our agenda.
Absolutely.
Again, Brian, thank y'all, but we have new trustees on. So can you kind of like explain the percentage option that you just talked about, the 960, so that the new trustees can be able to try to educate their members on it? So
Brad, do you want that one, Brad? I don't know if you're asking me, Carol, or Brad. I'll defer to Brad unless he wants me to.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Carol.
No, I mean, you're going to, because for me, 47, I know you go to the police and fire also. Candace does a presentation to new members, but I don't know if that's included in her presentation. So again, the educational process is important. But because we do have the new trustees on the line, I just wanted to be explained to them, what do we talk about when we say percentage option, which is, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can say that I've been with Candace at the DC 47 and every new employee orientation. I would venture to say that a lot of the 960% contributors, I can't say, with 100% certainty, but a lot of them are probably some of our new hires that are just signing up for the plan. And just for everybody's benefit. So historically in deferred comp for the 35 years that it was in existence, the way to contribute to the plan was what we call a flat dollar amount, which is $50 a paycheck, $100 a paycheck, whatever amount the participant wants. When the One Philly payroll system came in, we had the ability to add percent contributions. So basically what that does is it allows the employee to say, I would like to defer 5% of my paycheck. And depending on how much their paycheck is, determines how much goes into deferred comp, whether it's a flat salaried employee or an employee that gets overtime. If their paycheck is more, they save more. And when they get a raise, they automatically save more into the plan. So those are the benefits that Brian is talking about, that, if you think of over 20 years having that ability to automatically save more when you get a raise, when you work overtime, can be a huge benefit in the long run when you go to retire.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you, Brad.
Any other questions while we have Nationwide on? Okay. A motion to adjourn the deferred comp has been made and seconded, and hearing no objections, we'll move into the investment committee.
Thanks, Jackie. The first item on the agenda is approval of the October 21 minutes. It's been moved and properly seconded that minutes be approved. Is there any discussion? I'll call the roll. Diana?
Approved.
Brian?
I approve.
Leontine?
Approve.
Vanessa?
Approved.
Roosevelt?
Approved.
Paul?
Approved.
Rebecca?
Approved.
And Carol? Carol? I'm just gonna say the motion carries.
Approve.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
You muted?
Yeah, I was muted.
Okay. Next item is investment performance update.
Good morning. Thanks, Rob. Good morning, everyone. Spend a couple minutes going over the numbers, making a couple brief comments on managers and the market more broadly. And then if Marquette has any commentary or anything specific they wanted to highlight, they should, of course, jump in. The plan had a strong month in October, performed ahead of its benchmark net of fees. We returned 3% for the month, and that was roughly 40 basis points ahead of the benchmark. We're also ahead on a 3-month and year-to-date period by 20 and 30 basis points respectively, and even at 2.7% fiscal year-to-date with the policy benchmark. You should have received the more recent numbers yesterday that are estimated through close of business Tuesday, December 7th. Those show us at a positive 45 basis points for the month, in line with the benchmark, 2.13% on a fiscal year-to-date basis, also in line with the benchmark, and 11.3% on a calendar year-to-date basis, which is about 40 basis points ahead of the benchmark. Some of the things that we're keeping an eye on, as you might imagine, and that undoubtedly most or all of you have read, there was some increased market volatility over the past few weeks due to talk of faster interest rate increases by the Federal Reserve, as well as a faster unwinding of their bond purchase program. So several of the regional Fed presidents, as well as the chairman, discussed a faster wind down of the tapering policy. That coincided with some initial news on the new COVID-19 variant, which was discovered in South Africa. As the market began to assess some of those risks, particularly as related to the variant, and some of the news that's come in, at least initially, has been more positive. We've seen a market rebound, but we're anticipating increased volatility moving forward. Inflation still obviously a big concern, supply chain bottlenecks, any new variants that might be out there. There's still a lot of uncertainty as to what's going to happen with the president's proposed legislation, the Build Back Better legislation that I think the market would like some clarity on. We're not recommending any changes to the portfolio at this time, but just wanted to give folks an idea of what staff is keeping a close eye on, along with Marquette. No manager concerns,
Chris,
actionable.
One question on that. Is there a level of inflation at which we look at our portfolio and say, there's a problem with the way it's constructed, given a fundamental shift in prices?
I don't know if there's a specific number, Rob. I mean, we'll get a report, I believe, tomorrow on the most recent inflation numbers. I think they're expected to come in fairly high again. I would say that if the numbers continue to trend in the direction they are, it's possible we would look to do the asset allocation review a little bit earlier, than the kind of normal August, September timeline, just to, so folks understand the pros and the cons and the risks and the benefits of the particular portfolio. I don't have a specific number where I would say this requires an immediate shift. I'll defer to Marquette briefly if they feel otherwise, or if there's a number that would kind of trigger them to want to have a discussion sooner.
Yeah, so Chris, I would agree with the comments you just mentioned. There's not a specific number in mind. I would say that when we talk about inflation in the US, we've had the benefit of not dealing with levels of inflation that other geographies or other parts of the world deal with. So for us being in the highest single digits, that's away from what we've normally seen. But it's not, with that being said, something relating to our asset allocation that we need to worry about presently. When I say that, we look at our asset allocation and we think about the asset classes that are most under pressure in an inflationary environment. Fixed income is perhaps the asset class that's seeing the most pressure. We naturally have a lower allocation to fixed income because of our target rate of return. Our policy targets 17% to fixed income. We currently have around 14% of our portfolio in fixed income. So that is the conservative ballast of the portfolio. The other areas where we have exposure, even with modest levels of inflation, that should be somewhat of a boost for us. Equities under modest degrees of inflation should actually hold up pretty well. Real assets, so real estate, even the listed infrastructure, there's a positive correlation with inflation, meaning that when inflation does uptick, these asset classes actually see greater returns. And then the private equity allocation that we have, that's also a pretty decent buffer when we think about inflationary pressure. So ultimately, as Chris mentioned, we will go through a more detailed discussion regarding inflation, but as it pertains to our asset allocation, we really want to stress here that there's nothing that we need to immediately do or immediately address. Plan sponsors that are more heavily geared towards fixed income are those that need to worry a little bit more than we do. Again, we are very healthy in our risk-seeking assets, and the real assets component of the portfolio, again, is one portion of the portfolio that actually has that positive correlation with inflation. So more to come in terms of updates in the coming months, but hopefully that gives you some reassurance going into the new year that, for all the talk of inflation, all the talk of what's happening in the market, our biggest concern is really market volatility, and the inflation discussion will continue to stay on top of that, particularly as the Fed maneuvers and thinks of the right policies to combat inflation.
Great, thank you. That was very helpful. Thanks.
Thanks, Kwaku. Again, no actionable concerns or recommendations, any of the managers. Most or all managers have good long-term performance. A couple, that have underperformed over the quarter or fiscal year to date, that we're monitoring. Causeway, O'Shaughnessy. We'll come back with our quarterly update in January on SGA. We will have updated numbers on UBS, quarterly numbers at the late January meeting. I can tell you that they're estimating that they will pay out somewhere between $600 and $900 million, depending on final asset sales this month from their redemption queue. So I'll have an updated number for the board in January as to what was returned to us from that vehicle. Elizabeth Park continues to perform, incredibly well. And we will also start bringing, private equity, private debt recommendations to the board. If not in the first quarter because of the actuarial presentations, then certainly early second quarter of next year, 2022. With that, happy to take additional questions, or if Kwaku, Dave, et cetera, have other comments on the market or managers they wanted to offer.
Any other questions? Okay.
No other questions, but I would be remiss if I didn't wish everyone happy holidays and Merry Christmas, and here's to a blessed 2022 ahead. 2021 has been a little challenging, but we're all here, and this time next year, let's raise a glass, have a toast, and here's to your your safety, blessings, and here's to some good performance in the portfolio in the coming fiscal years.
Thank you, Kwaku. That's very nice. And are you going to wish Chris a happy birthday?
Oh, Chris, he kept that on the DL. Happy birthday, Chris.
Thank you.
You don't look a day over 21.
Happy birthday, Chris.
Thank you, Carol.
I didn't know we shared the same month. Oh my God.
Happy birthday, Carl.
Chris, it's your birthday today?
Yes,
Oh, happy birthday.
thanks. I
We
told
should have sang
Rob.
you happy birthday.
Well,
I
you
told
told
Rob, I
Morgan.
mean, no place I'd rather be than at the board meeting.
This is a.
Oh
this
my
is
God.
party.
This is our
This
joint present to Chris.
Aw.
I wouldn't want to be at that Miami Beach conference that we all got invited to this morning or anything, so that I sent around. So that's tongue in cheek for members of the public. We are not doing that.
Yeah, maybe we should.
On the securities lending report, 16,000 and change for the month in October. Just a quick note on that. That's obviously a large drop from what the board's used to seeing. The explanation for that is that we're undergoing the custodial bank transition from JP Morgan to Northern Trust. That was originally supposed to take place November 1st for some legal and other reasons, got pushed back to December 1st. As a result, securities have to be recalled. Things that are out on loan have to be brought back so they can be transitioned over to the new consultant or to the new bank, excuse me. We would expect those numbers to be a little low for the next couple months while we get the custodial bank, the folks up in Northern running, and then we'd expect the the numbers to continue to trend back up. No significant issues to report on the transition to Northern. We've worked through a couple small hiccups, and folks on staff, really everyone, has done a good job being in touch with the bank. It's a lot of effort, a lot of work to make sure all the accounts reconcile and such. So, my thanks to everyone on the investment staff and compliance, for helping make this as seamless as possible. Diversity AUM, no significant changes for the month. 26.65% local and MWBE managers on a combined basis, 19.59% diverse managers, and 9.5% for Philadelphia and surrounding counties. We'll continue to work as a staff with Marquette and Northern over the next couple months to see if any tweaks or updates to this report in terms of the presentation should be made in light of the questions that several of the trustees brought to the table last month. And lastly, the first three scheduled board meetings for 2022 are January 27th, February 24th, and March 24th. And that concludes prepared remarks from investment staff.
Any questions? Okay. Thanks a lot. And happy birthday again. Is there any new business for investment committee? Any old business? Then it has been moved and properly seconded that we adjourn, and we are adjourned to call the full board back into session.
There you go.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the board adopt the actions taken by the investment committee. I guess it's just the minutes in this case. I will call the roll. Diana?
Approve.
Brian?
I approve.
Leontine?
Approve.
Vanessa? Vanessa, you still on?
I'm sorry, I couldn't get off mute.
Okay.
Approve.
Thanks. Roosevelt?
Approve.
Paul?
Approve.
Rebecca?
Approve.
Carol?
Approve.
Motion carries. Is there any new business? Any old business? And it has been moved and properly seconded that we adjourn, and we are adjourned. Thank you all very much.
Thank
Happy
you.
holidays,
Thank you.
everybody.
Thank
Thank you.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Happy
Happy holidays, everybody.
everyone.
Holidays.
Stay safe.
Be safe.
Thank you.
Yes.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.